Hello and welcome to the World According to Jakai, where I share my opinion about this world, but trust me, I am not of this world. Welcome back. I am so excited to actually kind of feel like see you guys and you guys can see me. I'm coming to you guys from my home actually in Auburn, where I go to college. Literally, if you guys could see right now, the whole living room has kind of just turned into a studio. So God bless my roommate for that. The last time we talked, it was in 2023. Now we're in 2024, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a little bit different. I never quite understood what people meant when they said, new year, new me. Never got it. I was like, it's just a couple of minutes difference. I'm not gonna change drastically as a person. Although this year I have now realized, I think just because I'm maturing, I am 21, just that it's a mindset and you can make lifestyle changes. So one of those lifestyle changes, I'm not sure if you guys know me personally, you know what it is, but it is, yes, this bob, get into it. I'm obsessed. I never knew. I actually have never had a real haircut in my life. Like, I've always just gotten trims. I've never gotten a real haircut. I've never I've gotten highlights, but I've never drastically dyed my hair. So basically I'm saying I've never done a drastic hair change. This is my first drastic hair change. I would say my hair probably came to right here really all my life. So I cut it to right here and I think I like it. It's giving me entering into womanhood. You know when they say when you look good, you feel good? I feel good because this bob looks good. So getting into today's topics of today's episodes. Are women really ready for an emotionally responsible man? You're probably thinking, well, what do I mean by that? Okay, the theme of today's episode today, right, is TikTok. Meaning, I was scrolling on TikTok like we all do, and I saw this woman who was on a podcast. You know, it seems like everybody has a podcast nowadays. Well, she proposed a question. Are women really ready for an emotionally responsible man? She then answers the question herself and she says, I feel like a lot of women say they want a man that's emotionally mature, but when it really comes down to it, I don't think these women have the capacity to handle it, or I don't even think that they're really emotionally mature at all. And I really had to take a step back and kind of think about it, what is an emotionally mature man? And I would say, I of course want you guys to comment down below in the YouTube section and the Spotify and Apple Podcast section. I want you guys to let me know your answers to all of these questions. Although for me, I understood what she was saying. I did have to ask myself what was an emotionally mature man, and she answered it in the video and she said, you know what, ladies, an emotionally mature man, if you want to argue and if you want to start throwing your hands, an emotionally mature man will walk away from you. He won't be into playing mind games. You know how some men or how some women may manipulate you with their mind. He won't be into that. And he's just very level-headed. When it comes to problems, when crisis arise, very level-headed and can control his emotions. So I want to know what you guys think about that, because I still don't even know exactly for sure what I feel about that. I feel like in order for us to be ready for an emotionally mature man, the only answer I have right now is therapy and learning how to love yourself, because I feel like with those two things, you'll be able to be emotionally mature. Now, I don't know. You all let me know in the comments below. Does your mouth control your emotions? I was on TikTok again, and I actually follow my pastor, Pastor Creflo Dollar. If you guys ever want an inspiring message on TikTok, less than 1 minute, you guys. But he posted on his TikTok that if you find yourself having angry outbursts and not being able to control your emotions, he said start by controlling your mouth. That blew my mind. Like, that blew my mind just to think that by controlling our mouths, we could control our emotions. And I think what he meant by that is, as they say in the Bible all the time, your emotions tend to lie to you. And if you are feeling it, that's one thing. You're normal, you're human. It's okay to feel these emotions. But to prevent it from taking over your life and to prevent it from changing your atmosphere, just control your mouth. And that has helped me tremendously. I want you guys to also let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you all's mouth helps you all control you all's emotions. It's something different. It's something that I've never heard before, but I like it because sometimes it's good to just shut up. Yes. All right, you guys, so it may look a little bit different because I had my boyfriend join us on today's episode for the end to propose, you guys, our last question of today's episode.
What's the question?
The question is, can a or how can a cheater in a relationship change?
Man, I don't know. Me personally, I feel like we've all heard that quote. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know if a cheater can change. I haven't seen one change, so I don't know. We would have to ask the cheater that question.
Yeah, we would have to ask the cheater that question. That is pretty good. Listen, I agree with you, and I 110% agree with you. Although, where I got this topic from was from The Wives Club. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that on Netflix. He doesn't watch it, but because I watch it, he just happens to be there. But I've been watching it on Netflix, and it's basically kind of like if you guys have ever seen Sex and the City. It's basically like Sex and the City. The main characters in this show are Black women. And it's just showing them navigate through their jobs, their love lives, and them as moms. But specifically what I kind of noticed when it came to them being in their marriages, it kind of seemed like they were leaving open the gate for someone to potentially come in and...
Basically, they were being a little bit too friendly.
Yes.
They were being a little bit too friendly.
Way too friendly. Way too friendly. And it did lead for some of the couples in there cheated. And yeah, so that was just kind of a thing that I was thinking of. And then some of the couples, basically majority of the couples in the episode, if you guys have watched it, let me know what you guys think, have gotten back together. I feel like the only way a cheater will be able to change is if they stop going off of their flesh, like going off of their selfish desires of the flesh, and to actually kind of enter into more of like spiritual minded, like go based off of what they say in the Bible. Like, if you don't know what's right yourself, go to that and just depend on that. Right is right, wrong is wrong. I wish people would normalize that, like, sometimes bad thoughts can come to your head.
Mm-hmm.
Although you are an adult and it's your responsibility to say no and to not do it.
Right. The problem is when you act on those thoughts.
But it kind of does go to the last topic that I was talking, control your emotions through your mouth. Like, but you feel a lot of stuff, but you don't have to act on it. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to ask you was, what do you think about the first topic that I asked the viewers?
Are women really ready for an emotionally responsible man? I won't put all women in the same category, but I will say some are, but some are not. And I don't think that it's necessarily the woman's fault that they're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be based off their circumstances or what they've been through in the past. And I guess that's what they're used to, or they put their guard up because of what happened in the past. So, like, when I say, like, it might be what they're used to, a woman might be used to, like, crazy arguments, yelling back and forth, stuff being thrown, this, that, and the third. But when she comes to an emotionally responsible man, or meets an emotionally responsible man, she might think that he's boring, or that he doesn't care just because he's not doing all that. He's not, just because he can control his temper. And I don't think that necessarily makes a boring man, or I don't think that's anything wrong with that man. I think it's a great man, because me personally, I would want my daughter to be with a man that talks to her calmly. I don't want him to be yelling at her or something like that. Mm-hmm. As far as the other side of the spectrum, like the people who are ready for an emotionally responsible man, maybe they've been through all that and they're done with it, and they're ready to. I feel like if you want an emotionally responsible man, you want to settle, because an emotionally responsible man isn't gonna. He's still gonna tell you how he feels, mm-hmm. but he's not gonna yell or go back and forth with you about it. And he knows where he's at, and you can't really, in those situations, you can't really speak with emotions. And when you're yelling like that, mm-hmm. you're really just speaking through emotions, and you're not actively listening to what the person has to say. And that person is not going to receive what you're saying in the right way if you're yelling.
Right.
Trying to see what where that person is coming from, and reminding yourself that yelling or like blowing up like that is not the solution. It's never the solution.
Thank you so much for joining me today on the World According to Jakai.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I mean, it's like I say thank you, but you're a listener, so. Thank you guys so much for watching on YouTube. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, okay? And make sure that you're interacting with me, you guys. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what your answers are to some of these questions that I'm proposing, to all the questions. And also, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell for notifications on Spotify. And also, don't forget to follow on Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, and for watching The World According to Jakai.